And somehow, when you think the day doesn't have anything left to give, it just keeps giving. Cincinnati Fear picking up a win over, again, a team that now that Ryoma's in, we're expecting to raise the bar, coming a little hotter, but a double kill on Tristana to start off the game can sometimes, put a wrench in that plan, Rafa. I don't know if you've experienced this before, but generally, you don't want to start a game that way.
I mean, not me. I don't play mid lane, but I know I've definitely played with Josh, who has had to go up against the Tristana mid lane, or he has played the Tristana mid lane, and if he gets a double kill that early, I mean, he's feeling pretty good. But, it wasn't really the explosive start right off the get-go. It was that mid-game play, right, around the Rift Herald, and that's where everything blew open.
Yeah, the multiple resets, the rocket jumps coming in clutch. And I will say, going off of that early play, definitely comfortable playing against the Heimerdinger. This is something that happens in solo queue games. Whenever I go into a game, you mentioned you dropped on stream. I play a lot of Heimerdinger support myself. You got to type to your team, come with me bot lane so I can get my turrets down, and then you try and back and get a sweeper or something so that way you can control the brushes better. Because if you stick around and the enemy team is ready to pull a trap on you, like happened there, you can't really stop them. You're just a Heimerdinger with turrets, so you're just going to die. And I think that Cincinnati Fear definitely showing that they understood exactly how they wanted to play that early level. And hard punishing right there. So, Beatdown, we're going to play a little bit of a game here for this halftime show. It's the last series of the day, so we're winding down. We got one more game ahead of us. So I figured let's stress the two of you out as much as we physically can. We are doing this. I'm ripping this one off from Sierra, one of our co-workers. She's got a bit where she bought budget tarot cards from a thrift store, I believe. I think is how the story goes. Well, I don't have time to run to a thrift store, but I did draw a couple on some scraps of paper that I had lying around. So these ones are going to be a little scuffed, but again, that's on brand for myself. So the way that this game works is you're going to pick a player from either of the teams. I'm going to pull two cards here, and then you're going to have to tell me their future based on your interpretation of the two cards. Now, that can be their future in relation to the next game. It could be the season. It could be their future prospects overall. However you want to interpret that. Beat out, do you have a question?
I do. Was it always called What's My Path?
No, but I came up with that idea, and I think it sounds cool, so we're going to go with it. Okay,
just making sure I'm not crazy.
Beatdown, you've played this one before. Yes, we've played this.
I was confused.
You took Sierra's idea, and now you've repurposed it?
Yeah, exactly. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Yeah. Same ad, Rafa. Now, Beatdown, I'm going to let you go first, because you've played this one before. So, pick a player.
Any one of the 10 players, right?
Any one of the 10 players.
All right, I'm going to say Shochi.
Shochi. All right, let's pick two cards. What are the two cards that I grabbed? We got, these are interesting ones. We got the Substitute and the Thief.
All right.
Give Shochi's, the path based on the Substitute and the Thief.
Okay. That's an easy one. This actually kind of talks about his past as a player, because last year he was supposed to be the substitute for Pretty on Immortals, but they didn't end up needing him as Pretty arrived much sooner than expected. But you could call him the Thief because he stole the show alongside Taco Gaming during the the closed qualifiers in summer, the second one, by upsetting 100 Thieves next. And I'll do you one better. They're also the Thief today as they steal a win for Evil Geniuses off a 2-0 start.
Yeah! I would have loved if you had gone the direction of that Ryoma just replaced his substitute and maybe the Thief, but that would have been a little too flamey, so I'm happy you didn't go that way. Rafa, you're up next. Pick a player from either of the teams.
Perry.
You want to go Perry? All right, we're going to read Perry's future.
He's Perry.
Let me shuffle these up real good. And two cards. Perry with the moon and the buffs, which is red and blue. The buffs.
Okay.
What's his future based on these two cards?
His future is that this next game, he's locking in Diana. And he's going to steal and counter jungle both of Shaden's buffs, and he is going to pop off, and he is going to have a massive game truly delivering the statement that you should have considered me to move up to the Evil Geniuses Challengers roster.
Ooh. That's a statement right there.
That is a statement.
Against Shaden. Invading Shaden as Diana. Taking away 2 buffs. Hey, you know what? That would be spicy. I like that take. I think we probably got time for one more from each of you. Beatdown. Pick another player.
All right, give me Shaden.
You want to go Shaden? Okay, we just did Perry.
Yeah.
We just did Perry. Let's see if Shaden's got one for us as well. Oh, this is pretty good. We got the Ocean. And we got the combo. As you can see, my art skills are incredible. Look at I drew these during the game. I'm very proud of it.
I just want McDonald's now, so thank you for that.
The combo and the Ocean. Give me a prediction.
As for the prediction, the combo and the Ocean, I think it's pretty straightforward, Kangas, as we talk about Shaden being able to play several different kinds and styles of champions as this champion Ocean. And of course, him in tandem with his team having the combo to take this next game after what was a very rough loss, comboing that into a 3-1 weekend.
Okay. I actually really like this one. I think this makes a lot of sense for Shaden. Like I know we're playing a game, this is a bit, but it actually is how they've been getting their wins, Rafa. It's like using Shaden's champion Ocean and then comboing off of that with things that enable it. So he'll play the Graves and they'll go like Lissandra Sejuani, right? Yeah. Things that just lock down so Graves can output his damage. I mean, maybe we're stretching the term combo a little bit there, but still, like, you know, that is how they've been getting wins. And the question was, how will Ryoma slot into the team and how will they look different with that? So yeah, kind of cool to see there. Rafa, you're up next. Pick a player.
Ryoma.
Oh,
we're going Ryoma. Wow, we just did the people across from each other.
Yeah,
the mid jungles. All right, the final future telling. Ryoma has the Herald.
Ooh.
And the farm.
And the farm.
How is Ryoma with the Herald and the farm? How's his future looking?
In this next game, Ryoma is going to be entrusted with a scaling pick or someone that wants to farm a lot. Something maybe like a Kassadin, maybe. They're going to dedicate the Rift Herald over in his lane, give him solo turret plates and first brick. And just ensure that they are funneling all these resources so that Ryoma can deliver and just be this massive 1v9 carry to even out the series for Evil Geniuses.
So how is that going to combo with beatdowns then? If these are both accurate, fully true predictions, because we know the future of these players in this game. Beatdown, what's that combo? If it's Ryoma and Kassadin farming, what does Shaden play?
Well, I think Shaden's still going to play. I would see Shaden playing something like the Viego if it gets through. I could even see, what's a good skirmishing jungler? Maybe Maokai, something along those lines. It's a little different than what they would play when they were playing for Shaden, but like we've technically seen from him and what we know of him as a player, especially now with Ryoma on the roster, he can play those other looks, so he can play something a little more supportive for a Kassadin. That's my tie-in.
I like it. I like it. Well, I'm going to do one more to close this out here. You both gave great ones, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a rest because we're getting ready for a pick and ban for the final game.
Thank you.
I got two right here. I got the carry and I got the cheese. Now, I'm going to read this based on the series and how it's going to end. I think we're going to get a cheese pick for both of these junglers. It's Perry versus Shaden. Perry's going to pull out the Lee Sin. Shaden's going to pull out the Graves. And both of them are just going to slap each other around. Those aren't cheese picks, though.
No,
wait a minute. No, those are not cheese picks.
Maybe we'll talk about that one a little later.
You fell off the mark, Kangas.
I fell off a little bit. You know what? It's all right. I'll let them answer what those cheese picks are going to be because we're ready for pick and ban. Take it away, guys.
He leads us all up, says cheese picks, and says Lee Sin and Graves.
I know, let me at least say Twitch jungle or something.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Like Twisted Fate jungle, even.
Yeah,
you gotta
Camille jungle.
Kiki style, like Unicorns of Love, back in the day. Just like you don't know what they're going to expect. And really, that's, you know, if you want inspiration for cheese picks, you gotta hit up Wildcard, who just took down Cloud9 Challengers in our last series 2-0. If you missed it, and for anyone that is just tuning in and they've missed all the action, and if I just spoiled it for you, my bad. But also, you should have been here.
Skill issue.
Ratio. Make sure you go take some time to go back through all the VODs. The VODs are being saved, obviously, on Twitch, but also on YouTube after the games have concluded. And not just on this stream, because this is only the path to LCS stream. We have the Challengers League Twitch stream that is still live in their last series with, who's casting? I think it's my boy.
It's Cubby and... We can just look. We're in the same server. It's Cubby and Mad Magical. Easy.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And Mazel on deck as well as their host. So make sure you're tuning
I've
in.
lied. Mazel's casting.
Oh,
I remember because Magical said, I'm in charge of the show. You guys made a mistake, which I mean fair.
Nice. Well, Evil Geniuses Challengers, because they took blue side, they've changed a little bit of the draft priority. No Sejuani answer for Cincinnati Fear available because they banned 3 junglers out. They are putting a ton of respect on Perry right now. No Elise either. So Perry is forced to pick something new going into this game.
I wonder if it's the volley bear angle if Perry has to dig deep. I mean, he's got a pretty decent champ. Yeah, okay, you know, I'm just spitballing a little bit.
I mean, like, the volley bear would be cool, but like, oh, look at this. Shaden's just taunting. It's like, all right, well, what's your next jungle? I've just eliminated 3 of the jungle picks that you have used throughout the season. What else do you have left, boy? How deep are your pockets?
That's the question. And we'll see if that's actually grabbed up here. One thing I want to highlight too is that Fear go for a very aggressive bot lane. You take the Karma away from Smoothie to pair it with the Varus, but you also give it to a Jhin, which is another very oppressive duo in the bot lane too.
Yeah.
Even though Jhin is more of that utility-focused AD carry, and
yeah! It's not a cheese pick from the jungle, but it is the Pyke. And this is probably as cheesy as we're going to get, because this support pick is all about damage. It's all about resets. It's all about snowballing out of control. And when you already have a lethality Varus, which we are expecting from mobility this game, you have poke lined up, and as soon as someone gets caught out or stunned, easy death from below.
And we got a Kali probably in the mid lane for Shochi, which is always an exciting one as well. Common matchup into Syndra. And yeah, it's as you say, Smoothie, he's done playing nice, you know? The very kind professor and Heimerdinger. No, now it's Pyke. Now he's here to kill. He wants blood. Exactly.
That's right. That's right. All right, Smoothie, well, show us what you got. We're going into the second round of pick and bans. We've strayed far from the usual formula of lock in jungle, support, AD carry, or, you know, vice versa.
It's just refreshing.
It is refreshing.
And I think, too, now, with that switch up coming through here, we're going to see more jungle bans coming through. As, of course, Shaden's Kindred gets taken out of the picture, paying some heavy respect to Faisal, taking the Olaf out of the picture as well. And the question is just going to be, do you hit Perry with another jungle ban? Are you concerned about any other junglers in the pool as wildcard? Or will you just ban away something like a Cassante? Very safe pick on 4, something we've seen Faisal play a bunch.
The Graves respect as well. No return of the Shaden Graves.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Drain Bank.
7 junglers. That's 7 junglers who just got banned.
The Udyr.
Yeah, I'm counting Udyr, yeah.
Okay, and I guess Olaf doesn't really see gameplay as a jungler anymore.
Not really. Oh, yeah. Literally forgot about Vi.
We banned all those junglers out, and then Vi is still left on the table.
You know, standard.
But, you know, I think this was Evil Geniuses saying, I would rather have to deal with Vi, who can find herself
because the Poppy.
But it's the Shaden Poppy special, baby. This is a tried and true classic, even on Cloud9 last year. Shaden makes Poppy look like a carry. Like, you think she's just a tank? Nah. Shaden's Poppy hits different.
I mean, Shaden's that player we keep highlighting, Rafa, and there you go. We have the comp set, and I think one of the most exciting picks to me is that last pick, GP, for Faisal. A pick we've seen a lot from him. Whatever level of play he is in is a very exciting one to come through here. So the only really thing I'm concerned about for Cincinnati Fear's composition is you don't have the same from no pun intended, punch in this mid jungle duo. Not like a Vi Ari or something along those lines. You still technically have a dive buddy, so but it's a lot more onus on Shochi to be able to perform on this Akali pick, because if he can play this champion, good lord, she's good.
Yeah. Now, parry can always, something that we've been seeing on the B patch here is the dip over to the Black Cleaver rush for Vi, which gives her a little bit more firepower than if she were to rush what is eventually the tank mythic and Radiant Virtue. Slightly stronger than when she was just rushing Chempunk Chainsword. You get the armor reduction stacking on top of Vi's already passive, so even against someone like Shaden, who is tankier on the side of Poppy's kit, and parry, I mean, look at the rune choices. He's gone for the Conqueror. He wants to scrap. He wants to throw his hands in there. Oh,
Parry.
no. Turn off the camera. The Ignite. They want the kill. Ryoma claims it with first blood.
Oh, Perry, you know you're dead there. You can't flash like that, buddy. So now he's flashed and died. The worst outcome of my favorite game, Flash or Die. And that's a kill over to Ryoma, who's going to be able to, he used the flash, but that extra bit of mana he's going to be getting for himself with that Sapphire Crystal in the mid lane, I think it's going to make lane a little tougher for Shochi. Ryoma's going to have that early ability to spam that Q just a little bit more and continue to pressure this assassin with range.
Beat, as someone who has played a ton of Akali recently, how are you feeling about this matchup now that Syndra gets to walk in with an extra Sapphire?
I mean, it's definitely like, I'm punching the air if that's me right now. But, like, the only thing that's annoying is that I think the trade patterns, honestly, will be, like, kind of similar. Again, you get to spam your Q a little bit more as Syndra, but it is something you can avoid, and the way you trade, I think, as Akali is going to be the same. You were never going to have an advantage in this early game anyways. You're really waiting for level 6 and using a few opportunities when you know where the enemy jungler is to use that Shroud to play a little more aggressively, use that extra energy to your benefit. So not a whole lot has changed, I think, for Shochi. It's just post 6 and whether or not Ryoma gets to continue picking up golden kills.
That's right. And with the first strike rune that Ryoma is opting into, he's just trying to accelerate that gold income as much as possible while he is safe to do so against someone like an Akali who, as you already said, the lethal comes in once you hit level 6 and you have that perfect execution unlocked. So Ryoma just taking advantage. But Perry, despite not having flash, Ryoma doesn't have flash either. So if Perry can ever find an angle where Ryoma has already committed Scatter the Weak Stun for wave clear, then you can punish.
Yes.
But you already see that Shaden. He burned a flash. I think it was
the level 1. It was the level 1.
That's right. Okay, he was hex flashing towards the mid lane. I guess he was looking for Shoji, but now they've prepped this wave.
No.
They ran by through mid lane, forced Shoji back, and now this gives Ryoma freely up to move topside with them. Wall stun, counter-strike stun.
It's just perfect.
Perfect stuff from Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, and it's just perfect. You use that advantage you have mid lane because you have the push onto something like an Akali. Shaden moves up. It's just perfect. And you're forced to use the TP as Faisal so you don't lose as much as you might be worried about, but you're already falling behind because of the trades Faisal was taking into Soul. And like we're going to see a replay of how things went down. You could see with Faisal's HP, and we saw at the times we looked top, Soul was being very aggressive, trading into Faisal, getting his health to this point where you can use that Poppy E, the Counter-Strike, and the Scatter the Weak to make sure, Faisal should have just taken his hands off the keyboard.
I'm curious if Faisal needed to commit flash there to the dodge out on the stun, but probably just accepted his fate. It was a decent wave that crashed into the turret, but he was able to teleport right on back and absorb the rest of it. So, for the side of Evil Geniuses, they don't have to burn that many spells to really make that play happen. And now, Cincinnati Fear, off the back of what was an incredible Game 1 performance, now have to fight back against the revitalized Evil Geniuses challengers who are clearly swinging on back.
And even though the Game 1 was a big win for them, a lot of it started off that level 1, as I think we can all agree on, Mark. And with that in mind, what does Fear look like when they don't have that overwhelming advantage, when the scouting trick doesn't work for them? And that's an important question because I think just really quickly, something I noticed about Fear is that, yeah, they have a good record and they've been playing well at the start of the split. But if you look at their schedule, it hasn't been the most difficult. And I was actually looking at their schedule for the future. It actually gets very difficult because they haven't played teams like FlyQuest, CLG, Cloud9. They have a lot of difficult matches ahead of them. So being able to take wins and maybe even series wins against teams like EGC would do wonders for them.
All those teams we just saw play today.
Yeah. Let's not talk about the results.
I mean, some of them. FlyQuest was
sure.
able to go 1-1 at least, right?
Oh, that
But
game was awesome. True.
That game was... I mean, most of our games today were
Poggers.
big bangers. Yeah. Oh, well, we got a massive fight. Ryoma chunked down to
Big
third
stun.
of his HP, but he does the same to Perry, and Perry still doesn't have flash available. But great kiting from Trevor and Faisal, who keeps Perry safe from danger. It forces the immediate flash out of Shaden, who was almost burned down.
And I think that's a big move from Trevor in particular, being able to get out of lane quickly, move himself to the top side, expecting this play coming through here. Obviously planned, as we saw Perry here in the process as well. So you get flash out of Shaden. You manage to prevent Faisal from being pressured too much because EGC are obviously spending a lot of time trying to put down this gangplank. So you keep him in the game. But it's tough because, I mean, Faisal, all this pressure has amounted to quite a big CS lead here. Soul has been trading with him very effectively, keeping on this aggression, and it's paying off.
So far, despite the early advantages that Evil Geniuses have found for themselves, it is Cincinnati Fear that went out on the bottom side push war, even with Trevor hovering the top side of the map so that Faisal can be protected in just regaining control of this lane. So First Dragon gonna go over the way of Cincinnati Fear. There's still a minute and 20 for Fear to have time to reset if they want to contest for Rift Herald as well.
Uh-oh, and speaking of top side,
Okay, well, Trevor's here to prevent Faisal from going down. They get one kill onto Soul, and now Faisal still has flash to play with. They throw down the orbital cannon barrage, and just like that, I Fear just get to walk out. It's a flash that's costed from Faisal, but they still get out with the kill onto Soul, and no deaths.
and again, that's good presence. Oh, wait a minute.
Curtain call, and there's... Oh, my goodness. Just as we thought that Evil Geniuses had just swung right back and taken sole control of Cincinnati Fear, they're not backing down, beat down. We've got another slugfest on our hands.
Oh, and it might not be... Okay, I think there's a ward, so Shochi ended up knowing. And we certainly do, Mark, because, I mean, we talked about it. Pretty much every Akali matchup. It's very similar to Echo, if you're familiar. I know you are, Mark. And there's things change drastically as soon as you hit level 6. And we saw an example of that thanks to some help from mobility. And we're going to see this replay here. I think this is great presence of mind from Trevor to stay recognizing that Faisal is under a lot of pressure. No Shaden can return, no Smoothie can be here. So he stays, forces out another summoner spell, and Soul dies anyway. That move, I think, pays off big time, preventing Faisal from falling even further behind.
And just as we called it before, Cincinnati Fear still here just in time to contest for this Rift Herald, but Evil Genius is forcing Shochi to back. Oh!
Yeah.
Shochi was looking for that backflip, but the flash, not quite one that you were aiming for. And that pressure allows Evil Geniuses to securely take the Rift Herald for themselves.
Rift Herald, it's going to provide a lot of value for EGC if used correctly. I think what they're looking for is, I mean, the name of the game has been topside for Evil Geniuses. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. You have this Rift Herald, you have Soul, who you've been investing a lot into, I will say. And with that in mind, Mark, I'm expecting Shaden, you have time. You just picked up the eye. Clear bot side, Shaden Soul gonna do his best to stack a big wave. That's why you see Smoothie already moving in this area to allow this to happen.
Yeah.
And then you get more gold plates onto Soul. You put Faisal in the dirt.
Damn, that's cold.
That's a GP, man. You can't give him any breathing room. That's just the late game. You're gonna ask yourself, what happened?
Okay, well, it looks like Evil Geniuses were waiting for the counter gank, but maybe they just did not think that Perry was also going to be there. Soul was trying to bait in this play for Smoothing to make happen. Oh,
okay!
Beautiful presence of mind of Perry, knowing that the crushing blows from the E can spread AoE behind the primary target. Clips out Soul.
And it's just beautiful, because not only are they preventing Faisal from falling further behind, he's getting assist gold. He's getting breathing room. Because like I was saying, you shouldn't let this Gangplank breathe, but Fear, they're doing their best to be that support for Faisal. And it's going to pay off in those later parts of the game, because yeah, you have a utility-focused AD carry in Jhin, you have an assassin in Akali, but a lot of your damage is going to come from this Gangplank, and all you invest in him is going to pay off as Fear.
Damn, beat down. This has been an awesome day.
It's incredible.
I'm like, coming off of the back of what were stomps in this week in LCS, it is really refreshing to see just teams back to back, just throwing punches at each other. Soul is really upset about the previous circumstance.
Wow.
Oh my god, he just literally walked him down.
Like I said, bonk, Mark, as he just takes him right out of the picture. And that's brutal. It's 20 seconds. You're losing out on gold XP. Faisal will have teleport, so at least he'll be able to get that. But that solo 1v1 is one thing, but also because of this invade we're seeing on the bottom side jungle, Ryoma can just pressure Shochi, get these turret plates, and continue to get more gold into EGC's pocket overall. They are firmly in control here, and you just see that Harry can't go into the jungle by himself. He needs his bot lane to move in with him to make sure some kind of play doesn't happen.
Shaden just hovering around Ryoma. They can't really threaten a dive onto Shochi, but they can at least guarantee the wave will crash, getting more turret plates and brick gold or just turret plate golds overall for Evil Geniuses, and just continuously funneling gold as much as possible. They haven't been able to really break the pressure from the mid lane into the jungle quite yet, but I imagine that will be the next stop.
I think the next stop right now... Oh, are they gonna...
Nice sidestep from Shaden.
Oh.
Dodging out. Movement speed. Curtain call. Almost looking for Smoothie. Last bullet does not connect. Shaden blocks it. Good attempt from Cincinnati Fear. They were trying to look for something, but that is one ultimate gone.
Right, a little bit committed there. Not everything. You still have your cease and desist. You still have your perfect execution. And if you're Shochi, you're looking at that scatter the weak. Biggest cooldown there, and as soon as that's gone...
Shaden immediately seeing Trevor in his line of sight. No hesitation. Flash over the wall. Slam into the wall. And that Rift Herald will crash. And this is the first turret to fall.
Oh, no.
And they just keep on going. But Shochi, can he clean up with the... Unleashed power forces Shochi back. He's able to trade one on a Shaden, so it's a one for one in the end. But man, oh man.
No.
Oh. Stasis from Faisal. Okay, well, that will protect him. Oh.
Faisal's flash. Okay.
So immediately recognizes what could happen if his parlay comes back off cooldown. Like, I gotta get out of flash range of this guy.
Yeah. Yep. Well, really nicely done from Faisal. Oh, I was thinking about it. I was like, no way, right? But instead, I like this play. You know Soul doesn't have teleport. You just get him out of there, and you just start getting turret plates. You catch yourself back into the game. I think that's the right call.
Even the observer was like, yo! Sweating. Just giant W.
We all thought, like, surely it's going to happen, right? But it doesn't. And we're going to see the replay here. I think what reveals Trevor, okay, it's because he's clearing the ward. And that reveals your position. So Shaden's immediately like, hey, no, that's my ward. And you clearing it comes with a price. Oh, hey.
You're walking here. You can't do that.
That's not allowed. Oh, hey. You're also here, Perry? Oh, my God. Yeah, there it is.
It just keeps on trucking.
This just keeps on trucking.
Yeah, this is the power of all the crowd control you have available to you as Evil Geniuses, and just as soon as anyone steps up, immediately they pull the trigger. Evil Geniuses just pushing the acceleration pace as much as possible.
You have a lot of ability to create space and just play from range, I think, is EGC's comp. The big thing with that really is this Poke Varus and the Syndra, and you also kind of control space because you're worried about the Bone Skewer from Smoothie. So that ability to control areas, control zones, makes it hard for Cincinnati Fear, who really don't have a lot of CC to their name. It's just pairing, honestly.
Can't let him get into the zone.
What the hell was that?
Oh, good God. Ryoma, baby, throws out the question mark. You may have had to jump on him in game 1 of his return back to NA, but Ryoma is here to play and showing why he was one of our best mid laners of all time from 2022.
And it's a much more expected welcome back for Ryoma. And overall, I think making good use of the empowered blast cone, something people clearly aren't used to yet with the new Chemtech Rift we have, Mark. And it's going to get EGC another Rift Herald. More map control, more ability to knock down structures, and the ability to just keep control of this game here. Realistically, Shaden and the rest of the squad are playing this game to much better. And I gotta say, I think there's a lot you can appreciate about that. After getting so thoroughly smashed, like, let's be real, thoroughly smashed in game 1, to be able to just reset and be like, all right, you know what? They got us from level 1. They played it well. Game 2 is a new game.
A clean reset. Something that teams need to always be able to do. And it's a sign of growth and just when you're ready for the next stage of competition, the next level of pro play, right?
Yeah.
This team obviously doesn't have just only younger players, right? Soul and Shaden are in their second year, so they're not necessarily rookies. Ryoma, storied career in the Oceanic region before coming over and developing himself further in the North American semi-pro scene. Smoothie, I mean, has been in multiple LCS teams before being more of a leader role in the Evil Geniuses Challenger squad. Mobility is the only new guy, and he's the sub. It's supposed to be King, who is still waiting on his own visa issues to get sorted out.
Yeah, but for the moment, Mobility, I think, has been playing pretty serviceably, and you have this opportunity, like Robbie Bob explained, to be able to play scrim with the Challengers team. There's a lot of development available to you in those situations, too. So, I mean, just take advantage of the opportunities that are awarded you, as Evil Geniuses are taking advantage of what a good early game they've had, Mark. As you can see it, 4,000 gold lead in their favor. Faisal, members like him and Shochi, who are maybe looking and hoping for a little more gold to scale, are, I don't want to say in the dirt, but they have been put behind. And you can see Evil Genius is taking advantage of that.
And when you have someone as fed as Ryoma is right now in this Syndra, by the way, may have not happened exactly as the tarot card reading little segment that we had, but we did say that Ryoma is going to get a lot of farm. He's going to get a lot of resources from the Herald. Oh, but Perry still wants to put a stop to the momentum of Evil Geniuses, and it starts with the top lane. Flash for the trial by far auto attack. Oh, Shaden or Soul tried so hard to escape death, but it's still the parlay that clips him in the end.
Right, and much needed gold. I believe a shutdown for Faisal, and also some turret gold in his favor. Honestly, if we could take a look at the gold differences, I'm really interested to see where the spread is. And oh lord, it's mid lane where a lot of it is. Ryoma, 5 kills, been a part of pretty much everything. Been a part of 6 of the 7 kills that EGC have. Has a lot of gold to show for it here, and he's a problem. You can see the emote as if he can hear us. He's in a very powerful position here, even has the stopwatch in case someone like Perry, Shochi get on top of him, and you still have the rest of the team to contend with. And it just means that EGC can do exactly what we're seeing here. Go for these invades, pressure fear out of their own jungle, and set themselves up to continue stacking Drakes.
The Evil Genius is almost just saying, you guys really were that concerned? I'm scared. Oh, Ryoma. Soul's golden on the stasis. Oh, barrel does not connect because Ryoma flashes immediately, predicting that Faisal was looking for the barrel combo on top of him.
Oh,
and
they want it.
Slows him down. Shochi really wants Ryoma. The backflip connect. You know he's taking that every single day at Kali. Oh, baby. But Soul wants revenge of his own, but he can't get the last bonk onto Shochi. He walks on out. The cease and desist, locking down Soul. He goes down. The rest of Cincinnati Fear have found their momentum right back into this game.
And an insane catch out onto Ryoma just starts this tumbling, this deck of cards, this house of cards that EGC have built for themselves, setting up for this Drake. Now you have Shochi, who's going to be able to back and teleport into the bottom lane just to make sure he is in the area. But that's going to be another dragon. Fear continuing to stack for this Soul. And all they have now to contend with is that Rift Herald in the mid lane. Unfortunately, it was about to time out, meaning Shaden couldn't get the placement that he wanted. And this could be Fear starting to circle back in this game mark as they're starting to get some much needed gold in their pockets.
You know what we did?
What do we do?
We caster cursed EG.
We did!
Like, we had the narrative line down. We were talking about they were bouncing back, and we even said, yeah, were you really concerned? And then immediately right after, Cincinnati Fear just blew up 2 people.
They did, and it really starts here, to be honest, where you see the Deadly Flourish and the use of the Gale Force causes Ryoma to, I think, maybe panic a little bit and use that stopwatch on top of the unleashed power. And then the rest of it, like, Fear smell blood in the water. They just keep it going. Empowered Blast Cone is perfect for a level 12 Akali. Happy to use Flash. Happy to Shuriken flip under the turret into an R2 out. At this point, it just gets easier and easier. Because of the shielding, you can't get on top of Shochi. You can't take him out. And Perry able to lock down Soul for the kill.
God. This has been my favorite day of Challengers League so far.
It's good, not even close.
It's not even close. I mean, just like, these have been some of the most exciting games I've casted League of this year so far. And it's just, it's a pleasure to be with you, Beat. Pleasure to be with Kangas and the rest of the Challengers League production staff and crew. As we now are in the 21st minute of our last game of the day between Cincinnati Fear and Evil Geniuses Challengers. A team that, you know, we were expecting would be favored for Evil Geniuses' side, especially with the return, the triumphant return of Ryoma after all the visa issues they had to go through. But still, Cincinnati Fear showing that they can play, that they are ready to tango with these guys, and that this 8-3 in scoreline that they have gotten for themselves was not a fluke.
Not at all. And truthfully, even though Fear find themselves down 2K, you can see them punching back, making plays in this game mark, and constantly surprising us with what they're able to do against Evil Geniuses. And we'll see if they'll be able to keep that one going. They got 2 dragons, so stacking to a soul is technically still on the table for them. Faisal has hit the 2-item mark, and now again we're on the patch where you can build IE or Navori second, and so these barrels, they're gonna hurt.
Okay. Oh my good God! All right, Evil Geniuses find the pick, all off of the Bone Skewer from Smoothie, setting up everything else. Looks like Soul is going gold, installing as much time as he can. Counter-Strike will block auto-attack damage here. Barrels are great from Faisal. Keep Smoothie out of the picture, but Ryoma can still make an impact. Great barrel once again from Faisal. Keeps Evil Geniuses from running down the majority of the members of Fear. Perry flashing to try to redirect his attention onto Ryoma, but no cease and desist available means that the buy is going down, and the rest of Evil Geniuses just have to keep going on forward. Shaden's there as well. Shochi looking for the perfect execution. But he can't get in range. Does he look for it? Gets some damage down to Ryoma, but it's not enough. Sure, get backflip. Oh, but a clutch flash from Ryoma! Tommy Lane, ladies and gentlemen, styling right on back.
My God, Mark. Evil Geniuses, they're tired of hearing us talk down to him, and Ryoma in particular. This is more like what we expected. 8-2 on the Syndra. Nice plays like what we just saw. Really good from Evil Geniuses, and you see them continue to advance this gold lead that they have. They are in a really strong position once again. Precarious as it might be for Fear, they still have these opportunities to play for fights. It's going to be tough, though. This dragon, something they really want. Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Shaden looking for the pick on Benui, but if already got his flash. Cease and desist answer back from Perry. Locks down Smoothie, but he's got the Phantom Undertow to make his escape. Teleport comes in from Shochi.
Oh, he's taking it.
He wants to go for it. Perfect execution isn't ready and is available. Not quite yet. Stasis. Good flash. Dodges out on the death from below. Minui flash, or going with the Gale Force. It's not enough damage on the Ryoma, though. Holy, this game is delivering.
That doesn't even begin to describe it. And this is actually a potential opportunity for Fear. Baron, not on the table, but Dragon up in 10 seconds, they might be able to make a play for it here. They don't have the fastest objective take, but if they get there first, they're able to set up. I mean, that's an important thing for Gangplank, getting that brush control, to be able to have people walk into you and let you kite. That's why You see them. The bottom wave is being pushed in, and the members of Fear are trying to move into this river. Oh, Soul. Oh, Soul!
And Shochi has perfect execution this time. He's looking for it. Goes forward. Shuriken backflip lands and connects once again. But the Poppy shield from Shaden stops Shochi in his tracks. He can't continue on forward. Soul eventually goes down. The fire back from Evil Geniuses. It's the artillery. They're looking to fire right on back. Evil Geniuses now have Cincinnati Fear on the run. Perry's looking to make his escape. Goes right on back with a huge vault breaker. Shochi has teleported right on back. He wants to play, but no perfect execution, so it's all going to be about how he uses the Shroud, how he uses the Shuriken backflip to connect onto the squishy members. Evil Geniuses still have their jungler, but so do Fear. But I don't think Fear had any means to be able to contest the dragon.
Wow, and another big fight from Evil Geniuses. You'll see it here. They think they have Soul. Soul even flashes the wall, but is able to leap strike to his teammate, and you can see it. The biggest thing here, in my opinion, is Shaden. That use of the Keeper's Verdict. You deny the second proc of perfect execution. You deny, quite literally, the execution. So you keep yourselves in this fight. Yeah, you lose Soul in the process, but Shochi not being able to gap close anymore because he's out of the picture means it's easy to run down the rest of Cincinnati Fear. God damn.
Close. Oh, just... I don't know if you can hear me, but
You're
I'm
clapping?
just like... I'm just banging my table right now.
Yeah.
This game is just so awesome, man. I love today. These games have been so exciting to watch, and you just see the determination, the grit from everyone that is playing on the Rift. I know a lot of people can just chalk it up to a lot of mistakes. Yes, there are nerves definitely at play at some points. We've seen a few fail flashes, but that's what makes these games so damn exciting. And it makes it so hyped to just follow along and see who can clutch it out in the end.
And that's how it goes. We're going to see who can actually make this one happen. I mean, Fear being able to... Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, that Bone Skewer from Smoothie. Harry figures that he has to commit over into the backline. Ryoma goes golden. The curtain call. It can't block it, but it's the damage from Faisal. Cannon Barrage singles out both Shaden and Ryoma. They find a third. It's a triple for Faisal, and that buys them time. Despite not having parry up for the Baron, they're going to go for it anyway.
And the investment has paid off, Mark. This is Faisal scaled up. He's able to put a big damage in this fight, and he gets Fear exactly what they need. 3 members of Evil Geniuses down, a Baron in their hands, and finally, a chance to really come back here in Game 2. And we'll see it in the replay. Biggest thing, really nice wraparound from Shaden. Making sure the Steadfast Presence prevents Perry from escaping. So instead, they make the call. They commit the Cannon Barrage. The all-in goes through on Ryoma, even if he stopwatches. It's Barrel City, everybody. An easy shutdown, and it just leads into a triple kill from Faisal. They put so much in keeping this Gangplank in the game, trying to get him advantages early on as Cincinnati Fear, and here we are. It's paid off, Mark.
We are neck and neck. Faisal, 3.5 items on this Gangplank. Navori Quick Blade's already online, but Evil Genius is waiting for a pick. Oh, Perry connects onto Shaden. Looking to go further, but Fear can't dive into the tower quite yet. Faisal wants to get in range. You see that he was posturing for a barrel chain follow-up, but Evil Genius has managed to just squeak out alive.
Oh, wait a minute. Smooth? I mean,
Manui...
Yeah, he's got Gale Force.
Yeah, okay. Gale Force is popped. Still has Flash and Heal to play with. 2 more mobility spells to use if things go south.
So now, Fear, having caught themselves back up in the game, having secured themselves a Baron buff, are able to finally knock out some much-needed structures. Tier 1 in mid and bot haven't been touched all game, which I think is astonishing considering Fear have evened out the gold, because usually in these situations, that's a lot of easy gold for you to pick up. And speaking of easy gold,
they're committing. A teleport is coming in from Shochi as well. They're going to cut him off at the pass. But Evil Geniuses have reinforcements immediately right on after. They just need us all enough time. So Shochi connects. Well, doesn't even need the Shuriken backflip the second cast. He flashes forward.
Baby.
First cast of perfect execution. He wants it.
He hits
but the Keeper's Verdict from Shaden punts him right out in the nick of time. Evil Genius is now stalling out for Ryoma to make his approach. Parry is taken out. Soul will live from one barrel combo, and they auto the barrel from Ryoma to make sure that Faisal cannot fall
Oh my
up.
God.
Unleashed power is not enough damage. Here comes Shoji
Shoji's
over the
back.
wall. Trevor with the mantra Q as well. Shoji doesn't have perfect execution, but he's still looking for the damage. Ryoma goes golden, only to go down. Cincinnati Fear, keep up the persistence, enduring through even Evil Genius's defenses, and they are plowing through the turrets.
And that persistence, Mark, that play has earned them a 4,000 gold lead and so much for them to be able to spend. And it starts here, Mark. You have the cannon barrage, so you know that this is a play you can happily make, even with the rest of the team showing up. You say, oh, forget it. We want this bad. The rest of the team is on the way. You know Ryoma doesn't have teleport, and Shochi is in the area. At this point, it's just pretty simple to walk them down. And although, again, Shaden, these keeper verdicts have been incredible, but also, he was on the other side of him, so I would like a refund, Riot. Point is, really nicely done from Ryoma, Shaden, and Soul to be able to burst down parry, but ultimately, this is an insane net win, especially when Shochi comes back to this fight. They just continue to tear it up, even without the gap close. That is the perfect execution. Level 15, more than 2 items. Bro, this Akali does damage.
Damage, bro. Damage.
Damage.
Bro, I like that.
You like that?
I do.
I don't know why I did it, so I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, no, because it's got a little soul in it on the back end of damage, bro.
You know what I could have said? I could have said Shochi is the baddest.
Ooh.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Can we go back to Shochi? What skin is he using? Is he using the KDA?
Star Guardian.
Oh, okay.
If you're using KDA, like, it would have been crazy perfect.
Yeah.
We could just start singing the baddest and be perfect. Do what the baddest.
That's right.
That song is so good.
Yeah. But also the Star Guardian song with Porter Robinson. That one also, like...
That does go hard. I know when I play with you, and I always use the skin, you literally hum the back animation song every time I recall.
I mean, that song just hits you in the feels, man. All right. Enough music talk. It's been... Sometimes we need the music talk to give us a breath of fresh air, because this game has just been so tense. We're in 32 minutes of the game. Cincinnati Fear have made a gold lead for themselves, and because of now Faisal just reaching this critical mass point where Gangplank Barrels are going to one-tap any squishy, as Evil Geniuses, you have to be careful about how you make your approach, which is why this side of the jungle is a no-fly zone for Evil Geniuses without everyone on board.
At this point, Perry is so comfortable in the position they're in that he is just vault breaking over walls, just basically taking space, saying, all right, if you're out of position, like, you're going to be the one in trouble, not me, because he will commit that cease and desist. And you can see how hard Evil Geniuses are trying to get vision on their side of the map, and it's so hard. Immediately responded to by Fear. They're clearing out everything. All that's left is that one ward, which, I mean, realistically actually gives a good bit of information, but it still isn't much, especially with Shochi looking for these flank angles, sitting in a spot just covered in total darkness.
And at least for Evil Genius's side, they know that Fear can't do the Baron anytime soon without them at least somewhat knowing by crossing over that one lone blue ward. But now they're pinging, making the encroachment into the Baron pit. The Baron has spawned. You have to imagine either Evil Geniuses stall the Baron and the recalls so they'll allow Soul to get as much turret work as possible, or you teleport right away. And the answer is you can't even walk up. You can't even walk up.
I mean, you get a tier 2 in exchange, but so much more gold was given over to Cincinnati Fear. And the only real downside is that a lot of these lanes are pushing in against you very close to your base, but you still have Baron, which will allow you to help fix this map state a little bit easier. And you have Shochi still, who, oh, wow. We're teleporting to make sure Shochi doesn't get this turret. And that commitment means, one, that's a key summoner spell down for a couple minutes, and also it just buys more space across the rest of the map for Fear to be able to push these waves out, because someone does have to answer top again soon.
That's pretty crucial, the fact that Ryoma had to burn the teleport, as you already called out. That means Ryoma has to hug the rest of Evil Geniuses as they make the approach into this Dragon Pit. And if he gets chunked out, even if he doesn't... Oh, okay, maybe a pick attempt onto someone in the Minui. Stasis, he goes golden. Thankfully, he had that stopwatch available. Keeper's Verdict only punts back parry, but the curtain call is available.
Oh, Shochi's here.
Goes into the backline, forced to use a perfect execution defensively. Evil Geniuses have only lost out on mobility. If they can hold their ground, they can look to contest them at Dragon. Shochi goes golden with his own Zunia's Hourglass. Huge barrel combo from Visol. They're flashing forward. Cincinnati Fear want the 2-0 sweep over Evil Geniuses. Another shot from Manui. Takes out Evil Geniuses. Soul's the last man standing, but they have the Baron beatdown. I can only imagine this is Cincinnati Fear cleaning out Evil Geniuses with the 2-0 sweep to end day 1 of week 3.
Bangers only, Mark. Fear silence the doubters as they give one of the most convincing wins we could ever hope from a provisional team, Mark. Evil Geniuses go down 0-2.
Wow. I'm
speechless.
Yeah. I am absolutely floored. Cincinnati Fear. Hell of a way to step up and really take on a powerhouse of a challenger roster team. And I can imagine people will look at the score lines like, why would you expect it that way? I mean, this is... If you've been watching the way that Shaden has played in the past few games, we literally came off of a week where he was double digits, over 10 kills in every single game. He is a monster that you have to shut down, and Cincinnati Fear did so almost effortlessly, even with Ryoma returning and making great moves and great responses in the second game. So just massive props to Cincinnati Fear. But for us, that is almost the end of our show. We have one last interview, and that is going to be, of course, once again with Kangas and the members of Cincinnati.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, as we have our post-series interview with the one and only mid laner for Cincinnati Fear, Shochi. Shochi Diff showing up again. You just keep racking up wins, man, and keep silencing the doubters. First off, congrats on the 2-0. Second of all, how does it feel to be at the top of the standings right now?
Yeah, I'm definitely satisfied we got a 2-0, even though I didn't play too well. Our track record versus all the challengers teams has been like 1-1 for the most part, so 2-0 definitely feels good.
Well, you did it in a spectacular fashion. Game 1. Game 2, we were talking a little bit before. You were like, I wasn't the happiest with the play from that game, but I want to start with Game 1. The double kill on Tristana to start off the series. Talk me through what the communication was like going in. Was this like a specific person on the team saying, hey, we should check the Heimer, or was this just like everyone on the same page?
Okay, so it's actually pretty funny because we started, like, we were coming out on the map, and then Trevor was like, wait, they're gonna put up Heimer turrets. And then we were like, oh, we probably should have been there. But then we saw, like, normally people send 5 bot to, like, protect their Heimer turrets, but we saw them in top. And then I think Minui saw, like, a Heimerdinger wrench or a nut or a bolt or something coming out of the bush. And Trevor was like, yo, let's wrap on this guy. Can I get Tristana with me? And I was like, yeah, I'll sneak through the tri-bush. And then, yeah, I mean, we just 3v2'd them. We had some good calms on like calling our target, so my bomb got Heimer, and then we started autoing down Varus, and yeah, I got 700 something gold to start the game with, which was pretty good.
Yeah, that was intense. It does add pressure though, because now you are the fed one. Like, if you lose that game, you know that you're gonna get memed. It's gonna feel awful. So what was it like playing in that kind of situation? Is that something that you like to happen because you're like, I know this, I can carry the game, or was that tough?
I mean, it was definitely some unexpected pressure starting from like minute 1, but it's definitely something I have to get used to because I like being in the spotlight, I like being the carry, so it was a pretty good learning experience having that, like, the pressure on me of like the expectations, all that, because I did have a lot of gold. I kind of spent it pretty poorly on my items, but
the coal in the boots first bag, yeah.
I mean, I thought I was cooking something up, but 2 longswords is probably just better. I mean, yeah, it was a good feeling. I think I'll get used to it pretty soon.
Well, you mentioned expectations, and I want to go into that a little bit more, because if we're being honest, expectations for Cincinnati Fear, I think on our end, coming in, we saw the promise of the roster from the broadcast perspective, but still we're looking at other rosters thinking, okay, clearly some of these challenger tier rosters are going to be better. Evil Geniuses was one of those that we had up. Obviously, Ryan was just coming in, replacing Robbie Bob, who was playing the first couple of weeks, but expectations are already raising now for Cincinnati Fear based on how you all have been performing. So, what's the perspective of you as a player who's come into the league, maybe disrespected a little bit by some of the viewers and the broadcast? What's it like to prove us wrong?
Yeah, I think like throughout pretty much all of my career, I've been the underdog in this situation, which I mean, it is fun, but getting some cred on my name would be pretty cool too. Like back on Taco Gaming, no one really expected us to be 100x. Like that whole final series was really exciting. It just feels really good to like prove the haters wrong, or like people who might not even be haters, but just like people who didn't have you on their radar. All of a sudden, you just pop up and like shine like a star. So definitely feels amazing.
Now, you said a little bit earlier that you do like to be the carry. Does that translate over also then to where you stand in the public eye? Like, do you like being the underdog? Do you think that you perform better because you got a chip on your shoulder?
Maybe a little bit, honestly. Maybe the underdog thing is a buff for me. Because if you don't really have anything to lose, you don't go into the game with any worries or like any expectations. You're just like giving it your all, trying to make sure you get the dub. So maybe it might honestly be a buff. So maybe don't rate me too highly.
All right, you know what? For your sake, we'll keep putting you down and like, yeah, he's 14 out of the 16 of mid laners, probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, you are living with the team. I want to get into a little bit of the shenanigans that get going in the gaming house, because for anyone who's not aware, Cincinnati Fear, you're all here in California together. So what's it been like living with the team and kind of getting to know them outside of just playing League of Legends with them?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely at first really nervous moving here. It's my first time like living away from home. I didn't like to do dorms or anything in my first semester of college. So it was my first flight and all that. I was pretty nervous getting here, but once we all got settled in, like they're really funny guys. We all troll around a bunch, and our manager's taking us to the gym, so I'm getting my pump in, you know.
Yes.
It's definitely like opened my eyes to like it's not productive pretty much to play League solo queue like 12 hours a day straight, because you get to a point where you're not learning too much. So like having a better diet, going to the gym, getting like physical exercise, which is something like I'm not too familiar with. It's really like opened my eyes, and I think it's made me a better League player than if I just kept grinding solo queue 12 hours nonstop every day. And
listen,
they're all really great guys.
How's your hydration level? Have you've been hydrating? I assume that's very important.
Yeah. I mean, I've been hydrated all my life. I love water.
That's
so
good.
No worries there.
I knew we had a connection somehow. Yeah, you said something. I want to dig into. First flight ever? Does that mean like ever? Or like first flight?
Like ever. I've never really been on a plane before this, but it was chill. I kind of just slept through it all.
So you jumped on your first flight ever to move away from home for the first time ever to live with a bunch of other gamers in California, and you're saying that your diet and your physical exercise are at their peak right now.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
Miracles do happen, everybody. This is the Cincinnati Fear miracle that's happening in front of our eyes currently. Shoji, any shout-outs that you want to give to anybody at home who might be watching, or anybody just that you want to take the time to thank?
Yeah, first, shout out my girlfriend. She's been super supportive throughout this all. We're kind of doing the long distance thing, so shout out to her. Shout out to my mom, because like you said, first flight ever, moving away from home, it was pretty hard to convince her, but she gave me her blessing in the end, so I definitely appreciate that. Shout out all the fans who support Fears, who support me. Shout out the people who like don't put me 14th in the list, but you know, I like the underdog. Shout out my team. They're a bunch of funny guys. We all troll around. They call me the biggest troll, but I don't know if that's true. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's an honor to have on a team. Also, Shoji, I gotta say, first interview we had of you, I don't think there was a single thing in your bedroom. Now you at least have an unboxed shelf. It's not put together yet, but I assume that's gonna turn into some kind of shelving equipment. So
eventually, yeah, a little thing for my clothes, yeah.
I can't wait for the lore. We're going to have to compile a video of your room just building up throughout the split. But
Yeah, I'm excited. It was pretty barren the moment I got here, so I'm excited to build it up during our stay.
Can't wait to see what you decide to decorate it with. Thanks so much for coming on, Shoshi. Congratulations on the 2-0, and best of luck going into the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
We'll bring back on the casters to close out the day now. Say goodbye to Shoshi, everybody. Waving goodbye. And bring... Oh, yes?
Before Shochi goes, I relate super hard on coming into a barren room and just not knowing what to do with it, because me, Joshi, and Cubby also moved out here around the same time. And, I mean, the camera is just focused on that part of the room because I don't want to show the mess that is on the other side of my room as I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all this empty space. But right now, it's a work in progress, right? Everyone is just... We're all trying to figure out where to put everything in and make the best of, the new year that is 2023.
Shoshi replied to Rafa right there, but that was just for Rafa's ears. I'm getting the stream did not hear that. But thank you, Shoshi, for sticking around for Rafa's story time as well. So, Rafa, does that also mean that your diet and physical activity are at their peak right now? I mean, Shoshi did it.
Well, my sleep schedule is a lot better, actually. I will say that.
That's a win. We'll consider that a win.
I've been getting up pretty much every day before 9 a.m., which, before was, not consistent at all whatsoever. Most of my mornings, I'm actually, the first one up in the Casa de Caster. I'm usually up anywhere between 7:30 and 8:45. And it's just natural. I have an alarm set on my phone for 9 a.m. as hey, this is the max time that you can stay up or be in bed before you have to get your ass up, right? But, my body is naturally just kind of woken up.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. And I know that you're staying hydrated as well. This is good. We should just catch up on Rafa's health and well-being at the end of every stream. I feel like this should just become standard. Beatdown, how you doing? Anything to update on? You're golden?
Yeah, I mean, health-wise, or what are we asking?
Let's get back into the games. So, catching up on the standings currently, we can actually talk about the show that we're on right now. NACL standings at the end of the day. Cincinnati Fear currently in first place with the most wins in the entire split. Obviously, this will be updated throughout the weekend, but for right now, screenshot it if you're a Cincinnati Fear fan, because they are silencing all of the doubters right now.
I mean, rightfully so. It's funny. I remember Shoji when he played for Taco Gaming last summer. Won a series I didn't expect, and I DM'd him saying, you know what? I'm not going to doubt you guys anymore. And he literally just spammed my DMs immediately in all caps, doubters? Doubters? And I haven't really doubted ever since. Good to see that he's doing well with this team. And it's honestly, a crazy thing to see, where we expected, for the most part, challenger teams to be on the top. And if we're looking at the standings, for the most part, they are. There's a few provisional team outliers, but seeing a provisional team in first place, yes, we still have 2 more days of games. Yes, it's going to be updated. But right now, February 4th, NACL start of week 3, Cincinnati Fear are in first place. And that's amazing.
The coolest thing to me, Rafa, is the spread. There's not a bunch of clumps. Usually we'll have a middle clump, or we called it the blob. I forget. We had a couple different names for it last year.
Magical called it the blob.
Yeah.
Everyone else called it the clump. That's right.
But we don't really have that. 7-3 is our clump right now. We have 3 teams at 7-3. And that's, obviously 16 teams, that's way more opportunity for spread. But it's just cool that we're seeing early outliers on both sides.
The other neat thing is just who is at the top. Obviously we had high expectations, and we were talking about Cloud9 Challenge is going to be top of our leaderboard. Well, thanks to Wildcard, who just rained on their momentum, handed them their first ever 2-0 loss. It's just...
Yeah, let's look at it again. Let's just pull that back up. We're still talking about it.
Yeah, now Wildcard are in the same clump as 100 Thieves and Cloud9 because of their efforts today. Fear is leading the pack. These are 2 provisional teams that have really just gone above all of our expectations, at least in the first couple of weeks. We still have 2 more days of week 3 to play out, obviously, and maybe the results will start to, trim them trim out where people are supposed to be realistically. But also at the end of the day, most of these rosters have different and varying goals, right? Some of these rosters are basically picking up players who didn't get considered for a Challenger League fixed team, and they're just trying to prove, hey, we deserve to be in contention and to be vying for spots on a fixed team roster, right? And there's plenty of individuals that are trying to show their stuff, whereas some of the Challengers League teams are trying to take more of a long-term approach, like, hey, we might not pick up wins anytime soon, but we're trying to develop young talent that we feel hopeful for as an investment.
It's so cool to see the story of the provisional teams and just all the developing players. Right now, especially after the games today, it feels like we're hitting a peak in North American developmental semi-pro League of Legends. The gameplay was fun today. We didn't really have snoozer. The first 22 minutes of the entire day was a little bit of a snoozer. We had like 2 kills in 22 minutes. But from that point on, it was just excitement and really fun gameplay, and it's not the cleanest, right? But it is fun, and it is cool to see all these younger players trying out things that a lot of the pros, you're watching LCS right now, are struggling to even find the rhythms that some of these teams are finding. A lot of excitement for the future of North American players and talent. And with that said, that's it for day 1 of week 3 broadcast. Thanks, Rafa and Beatdown, for coming on. You kept up great energy throughout the day. Thank you to everybody behind the scenes in production, especially our producer Cinzia, who's keeping the gears rolling here, and our lovely producer Emily as well, who hasn't fired any of us yet. I'd say that's a success.
Huge!
Already into week 3. Make sure you stick around for day 2 of week 3 at ACL with more action coming at you. We'll see you there.
Bye!